taught me wrong from right. I was born in the South. Sometimes I have a big mouth when I see something that I don't like.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, Nick here, and welcome to my review of Cars, which is the 7th Pixar animated feature film. The reason I'm doing this one is because I recently watched it, same with Cars 2 as well as Cars 3, but I've already reviewed that on the main channel, and I'll be watching some more Pixar films soon. So I'm just trying to review as many films as I can when I watch them, such as the 2 Predator films coming later on. I'll be doing those after the Predator, as I'll be rewatching those after I see the new film. So let's and also in a similar vein to how I was reviewing the Terminator films after watching them. So Cars, this is probably Pixar's weakest film, just for the story alone, although animation-wise it looks great. So the story sees a race car called Lightning McQueen doing lots of races, and one day he accidentally gets lost on a way to a big race, and he ends up in a small town called Radiator Springs, and he accidentally damages the road, so he's made to fix it. Whilst he's there, he talks with the locals and even becomes friends with Mater, one of them, and another he falls in love with, which is Sally, and then finds out that another, Doc Henson, was a famous race car at one point. Eventually he does get back to the race after fixing the road and fixing up the town, and then he decides not to win as he wants to help a fellow race car to the finishing line at the expense of the title of Piston Cup. So that's Cars. It was enjoyable, I'll give it that, but story-wise I don't think it's amazing. I think it's okay. Most of the film is Lightning McQueen trying to fix a road. Yay. The bits where he's not fixing the road are probably the more interesting bits in Radiator Springs. I did like his interactions with the other characters in the town, but mostly when it was not when he was fixing the road, when it was more like when he was with Mater in the field, although I'm not sure what the point of that scene was, and apart from to give him a nightmare with the Combine Harvester, and also his moments with Sally, which make a lot of sense, and she explains what happened to the town and why it's like that. And it also kind of makes a lot of sense in hindsight, even if it was in a reality, if such a thing was with human characters, a busy town on a busy but not terribly busy route, then got bypassed by an even busier road, and the smaller road got less busy, and the town got less people coming to visit it, making it start to go out of business until someone famous comes along. Then, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. The race stuff at the beginning is good, as is the end. I think it's better at the end when Lightning realises he gets some humanity by the end. It's a bit of a slow go, but he gets there. So I think that's respectable. But, like I said, most of the story, quite a bit of the film, I wouldn't say a huge amount, but quite a bit of it is him trying to fix a road, and that does slow down parts of the plot. I mean, true, you want him to fix the road, but it does kind of slow down elements of the plot. So maybe the other bits that are good kind of slow down the story as well, just so the fact that he is taking longer to fix the road, but eventually it sorts itself out. And I do like the stuff with Doc, how that works out and turns out to being kind of an inspiration in a way. So it all works out really well in the end, but it's just a bit of a slow burden to get there in the first place, but it's still enjoyable, fun and entertaining movie. Kids will enjoy it. I do have to say comments to the British Board of Film Classification, which I am a big fan of. There are times where I agree, and there are times where I disagree with the certification. I think a lot of people if not everyone, has this same issue. But yeah, there are times where I think the certification can work for a particular film, and I think there's a time when they can't. Up to this point, the Nicholas Payne Retro channel, there hasn't been a film that I would disagree with the age rating for. Like I said with Terminator, if they showed the lower half of the body in the sex scene, then it probably would be an 18, and I would probably question why the film's a 15. If it wasn't an 18. But if it was an 18, it would make sense. And the others I thought, but as it was, it made sense as a 15, as did the other films with their certifications. And also I would say the same about quite a few of the ones on the main channel. However, here, Cars is rated PG. And I disagree with that very highly. I think Cars should have been a U. Because there isn't... It says mild language and scary moments. Maybe a little bit. But not much. At least not to get a PG. Maybe some of the language. Actually, no, I think the language is quite tame, to be honest. Across all three films. So... yeah, I don't know why this one above all the previous Pixar films besides Toy Story and all the other films up to Cars 2 would get a PG. Considering the last film was The Incredibles, and that featured a bit more violence and threat than other Pixar films up to that point, besides Toy Story 1. And that one passed at a U. So, and this film is quite tame, it's quite safe for younger audiences, and yet it gets a PG. I'm glad the other two films get a U because they deserve the U, and I think they both, certainly the second film, get may have a few more moments that would probably get the PG, but they don't. They get the U, and I think that's justified. But if the second film got a PG, I would understand. Third film, not so much, but yeah, this film I don't understand being a PG. No, the closest thing to a scary moment is the Combine Harvester chasing down McQueen and Mater. But other than that, not really. No, I think this is a quite safe film. I think it should have been a U, not a PG. So, yeah, I have to comment on that. Overall, this is a okay film. It's pretty good. It's got some good stuff. Kids will enjoy it. There's lots of great animation. The story is okay. I like the stuff with about the backstory about Radiator Springs, but I don't think it's an amazing film overall. It's a good way to spend just under 2 hours, but it's not an amazing way. So I'm going to score it a 7 out of 10.
You can say what you want, but you can't say it around here, 'cause they'll catch you and give you a whipping. Well, I believe I was right when I said you were wrong. You didn't like the sound of that. Now did you?
No way bad, but it's just probably Pixar's weakest piece of work, or one of them anyway. I don't consider Cars 3 to be terribly better. I think that one could have passed as an 8 out of 10 if it wasn't for the fact that the last third went a bit downhill. But see my review of that film for that. Next time, however, we will be looking at Cars 2, which I think is probably my favourite instalment of the trilogy. Although I think a lot of people would find it the weakest, or even the weakest Pixar film overall. But I think it's probably the strongest instalment of the Cars trilogy. So thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.
Look out, you got your blinders on. Everybody's looking for a way to get real gone. Well, here I come, and I'm so not scared. Got my pedal to the metal, got my hands in the air. Well, look out, you take your blinders off. Everybody's looking for a way to get real gone, real gone, real gone. on.
Don't forget to click below to subscribe to the official Nick Payne Extra YouTube channel. So, for the first time in the Nicholas Payne retro reviews, this is the first... Oh, I'll cancel it. I'll finish later. Now, there is one thing I do have to complain about that isn't to do with the film that a filmmaker can do to do with plot or the quality of the film. It's actually to do with the British Board of Film Classification rating. Now, I love the BBFC, but there are times where I disagree with their choices. I agree on quite a few times, but I disagree on quite a few other times, and I think that bit is quite true, speaking of, for most, if not everyone, most people, if not everybody.